This is my first attempt at making a video. I got the idea of watching Tim Holtz's videos, something that I've made this summer, which is going to be for our family pictures. This is just a sample of last year's, and we took them last night. I'll start off with the one I made for myself and open the closure. I only kept it open so that it'd be easier for me to do it for the video. Each of these were made from piled up of the grunge paper. I took several different layers of them to build it up and then embossed it with just several layers of embossing, and it came out looking like a real key. And this came out looking like a real lock with the inside colored of gold. It takes time to do it, but it's worth the time making something look cute. Lots of all this stuff is the old stuff that I like, and probably the grungier the better. But this is my first time using several of Tim Holtz's different embellishments, like the corners and several of the numbers. And if you're wondering where the eagle came from, that was a gift from Wendy Cotner. It was leftover jewelry that they didn't want, and she put it all into a bag. And I finally found a use for it. It's perfect right there. We'll turn the page. I'm trying to make these videos shorter. This is a compass made in the same way that we did with the grunge paper, layering it up. Everything is just popped up with pop dots, and you use the grunge paper a lot deeper with the inks than you do with the paper. Go lighter on the paper with the inks and heavier on the grunge paper. But this is where I found where the paint dabbers do a lot better job of getting the paint on faster, and it also makes a metallic look for it. The cover, just trash plastic cut out with one of my cutters that makes a circle the perfect shape for the same things as the stamp. It fits the same shape. And this one's a little bit plainer. You can see where the spaces are going to be for all the pictures. The tinier I make the pictures, the better they'll fit for each page. Turning the page. This is also my first time layering up all the embellishments with the gears so that they will move in different ways, and I really enjoyed this. But the work is very tedious, takes 2 pliers and 2 hands that will work very well. Since with my RA, you have to work when you can, not when you want to. This is another of my ideas, picking up just paper clips, and I'll be able to fit in one of the pictures just extra. This is also my first time with the craft glass ink. I didn't add any ink to this one just because I liked the plain way that it was, and my first time also using the grunge blocks with the numbers. Look how well that builds up. I just love that. I really, really love that. If you want to copy anything like this, go to Tim Holtz and go on the tutorials, and he shows you exactly how to do this. You can't mess up. There is no messing up. This is another one of the ideas I took from him. His tickets stamped out on paper and cut around, and then just distress it with your inks. I cut some extra little holes in each one to make it look differently and make it look like someone put it in their pockets, which my boys usually do. So I have one ticket for myself and David, one for Brian and Haley, and one for Brett and Holly. And on the back of them, I have plenty of room to journal anything about our evening taking pictures, which was really fantastic last night. It made me so happy to have all the kids all together. And there you go, another one of the little grungy things that I picked up from Tim Holtz and paint through so that the word journal comes up. And if you're noticing my nails, Haley did them last night with little stamps of strawberries. Now here's another page that gives me an opportunity to put a larger picture up. And the times stand for 6:30. This one got moved. It's almost everything is able to move. Interactive is what I call it. But this is set for 6:30, which was the time that David and I got married. 6:30, 6:30. I also like the way that 7 means perfect for God. We're not quite perfect yet. So we're almost there, but we're not, as long as we're on Earth. This is one of the fun ones. I actually took these rosettes from the rosettes that I made forever when we went to the Spirit Song Festival, Friend Festival. I made these little flowers and put them into a flower pot, and everybody was able to take some of them. So instead I broke off the stick and used a few of them to commemorate the fun time that I had up there with all of our friends. And on the inside is just another grunge board. This one isn't grunge board. This is cardstock board. It's called Scorecard. It's a little bit thicker than what the chipboard is, and it stands up a lot better. Some of the chipboard I had to double up on some sides. It depended on what I was putting in between or on the outside for it to be harder and thicker. But this is the scoreboard, and it's really good for keeping stiffer. And I added the old paper on top and grunged it up a little bit with the ink, and it made the cutest card to put in this. By the way, this really is canvas that is sewn. I sewed up the canvas first and then just glued it onto the scorecard the same way I did all the other pages. I just had a lot of fun with this canvas. It was my first time working with it too. Again, follow all the tutorials. You can't go wrong, and they even come closed captioned too. I had a lot of fun with the crackle like I did on the front of the book. And it shows you just put the crackle on there just like thick paint. It goes on clear, and wait for it to dry, or use your heat gun and let it dry, and then put some ink into it, really rubbing that ink in with those pliers. This is the same thing, using the stamper that I got, which is going to be discontinued for Stampin' Up. I had to order it especially because they're not going to do this lettering again. But I can also cover up the stamp and have name use for Christmas tags. I really, really like that. Just use your non-permanent tape over the stamp. This is one of the last pages I did, and it was a lot of fun, but I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with it at first. I'm going to put one of the pictures into this and then put the epoxy sticker over it. But open it up and it gives you a little pop of color. And this is for my thought of what God is, that all time is in His timeless hands. He controls everything, and so are we. We are in God's hands. And I left an opening to just slip one of the smaller pictures into. Try to make this video go faster. I'm going to end up making 3 different ones. This was a fun thing with the tags. Everybody's doing pennants, and I really didn't care for them until I got an idea for my tiny tags. And I thought, oh, that's great. But it was another one of those things that you had to do when your fingers were willing to move a little bit better. And this is the funnest page of all. Whoops, I came apart there. The funnest page of all. This was last year's picture, and I decided I wanted to have one of the pictures from last year, which was our first picture with both girls in there. And it was the first time Holly joined, and Brian had met Haley just last summer. This worked out perfectly. Also, if you'll notice, this little chain of embellishment, it's something I found on the ground during our anniversary, on the day of our anniversary, July 14th. It was on a little girls' band, and none of the little girls said it was theirs. Whoever lost it and was gone. and I pulled it off of the band, and it made a nice little L shape on there. A something found is what the word says. And this is cut out of the Bible. Lots of words from Ephesians 5 and 6 telling families how to behave toward each other. The arrow means that the Bible is what guides us. The found stands for who we each found through God's help. I really love that. Although my rings are gold, the girls like silver. And I decided to go with the silver rings just because 2 like silver, 1 likes gold, and we're passing on the good marriage is what I hope. And I think we will. This is another one of the fun things. All this is a picture hanger underneath, and I decided to embellish it to hide the square where you put the tiny, instead of nails, it was just long fasteners in it. But it looked so out of place compared to all this, so I cut out of grunge paper one of my keys unlocked so that I had a key for the front heart, love, and a key for the back clock. And there you have it, put together with just a ring, and add an embellishment of my own with just findings out of my stash drawer. And it locks up, and there's Lyla Laramore's book. Thanks for watching.